I'll just tell you my instance where I thought
everything is related, so we could say how our ghost story is related to.
Let's hear his experience.
There's only one
Of the ghost thing?
There's only one, it was just the weird event, and I remember I was probably 8. I was in the bathtub. I was probably younger than that. Maybe I was 5, and the bathroom door was cracked a little bit. I remember just looking at the crack, and there was a face, unlike anybody that lived in that house, and it was like a pale white, and it was very round, almost unhuman, and it scared the shit out of me.
How old were you?
I was probably somewhere between 5 and 8. I don't know.
Well, Native American belief, when you're younger, you're more perceptive of that.
That's my only story.
Mine's in a bathtub too, the one I was going to tell next. That's why I brought that. I was in middle.
Connected.
I was in middle school. We were living in an old house. It was an old-fashioned bathtub with the claw feet, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in there taking a bath, and the door is ajar, and someone knocks on the door, and you know, there's a bunch of us living in the house, so we had to share the bathroom. So I was like, "Yeah, come in," you know. And then they knock again. I said, "Come in." Knock again. And so I get louder, you know, "Come in," you know. They knock again. I'm like, "Just knock it off. Come in, you know. Quit screwing around." And the door opens halfway. And nobody comes in.
Yeah.
And then I start yelling and cussing, thinking it's like my brother messing with me or something.
Yeah.
And then my whole family comes running in the bathroom to see what I'm screaming about. But there's no one there.
How old were you?
I was probably 13 or 14.
Oh, okay.
So, but that was a real experience.
Yeah.
My father died 25 years ago, but recently, within the last month or two, I had a dream of him. That was just totally pleasant. I remembered the dream and I savored it.
Yeah.
But a lot of your real life experiences with him pleasant?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us the dream.
Like a good person in general?
My dreams don't last more than a second or two that I remember. Just, he was there, sitting close, not far away.
Yeah.
Yep.
How long has he passed?
25 years ago. Yep.
I think you mentioned he became an electrician?
Yeah, when he was in his 40s, he quit farming and became an electrician. Oh, so you remember well.
So he did that till he passed, or?
Yeah, he did. He did work out on the farms in the area till he was like 75. He was still working.
Yeah.
Yep. Huh. Incredibly kind person.
Yeah. That's good.
13 children.
Yeah.
Never saw him get angry at any of us. Never happened. Yeah.
Are you German?
Part German, Dutch, Czech, yeah.
How about you?
German, mostly, yeah. My, before my great-great-grandparents came over, they actually homesteaded in Russia.
Huh.
Like, I think Queen Catherine was doing that.
Wow.
Like, they were allowing that to bring in fresh ideas and fresh people, and then when they came over to the United States, they homesteaded here next. I don't know much about that. They're homesteading in Russia, but they went from like Germany to Russia to here. They lived in a cave here, or a hole they dug in the ground until they built a sod house. Like, as a kid, that sod house was still standing, but in the last 10 years, it's collapsed. Like, the state offered my grandpa, like, well, I'll keep it and everything, but we need a piece of land of yours. Put the road in.
He said, no, we can put corn there.
Make it like a historical marker.
Exactly. He was like, nope. And it's just like a pile of nothing.
So if we back up to the Native American stuff we talked about earlier, I have a theory that I'm more open to seeing spirits and more likely to see spirits than other people because I grew up very traditional Native American belief where our family talked to spirits every day. left food outside for spirits, whatever. It was a normal part of life. And then so I just feel like maybe that caused me to be more aware of that. I know you don't believe in spirits. But so I feel like I've gone, I go into houses and I know, I feel that they're there sometimes, or wherever, not necessarily even in the house. So in this house in the bathtub, that feeling was there. And I remember one day our 3-year-old brother, his name was Joe, he got really freaked out and he was pointing on the stairs saying there's this old lady standing on the stairs.
Whose house was it?
It was the same house as the bathtub story.
And where was that? What house was that?
It's on Menlo.
Oh, here in town. Okay.
Yeah. And my uncle had to come over to the house and get us all because my mom wasn't home. We were all scared, and my brother was crying, saying there's this old lady on the standing on the stairs.
Do you know the history of the house?
I don't, but I definitely would get this feeling sometimes like there's something going on. But I felt that feeling, like I've sensed spirits at other houses I've lived at too. But my grandma's house, haunted house, was the most that I've ever experienced ghosts around her house. And I wrote the book, Noctis Soul. It's a fiction, but it's all based on my grandma's house. And this house,
Was this in the valley?
this is at 1310 North Main here in town.
Okay.
And
I used to live at 618 and a half North Main.
so 3 blocks away.
Probably.
Yeah, every block is 100.
South. Maybe it was south.
Oh, I was in North Main, so that would have been 19 blocks away.
Or
1600?
So I was south of 14th.
Oh, so we were over almost by the prison.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
Oh, so was that you remember the white apartments over there? I don't think they're there anymore. Real Sketchville. Real sketchy place.
But I remember Omar's Market was on the street.
Yep.
We used to walk over there and buy candy and comics. When I was
Fountain of Youth. For your Fountain of Health. Remember that place? There's a guy's health food store out of his house, just down the block from Omar's, on Main.
Oh yeah, I do.
Lenny.
There's a guy too that
he's like 80.
Yeah.
Every time I go in there, you go, yeah, I just got back from the Senior Olympics out in Utah.
All right.
It's not Lenny.
Sign me up.
Yeah, it's not Lenny though. I can't think. I imagine he's dead now. But God, what was his name? I don't know. He was a trip.
Well, let me tell you the stories about my grandma's house.
1018 North Main.
1310 North Main.
1310. Do you know 910 North Main?
No.
That's where we used to practice. Haper,
Yeah.
Andrew, and I.
Oh, those are by where Dakota News used to be?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The guy that owned a medical waste facility.
Yeah.
He stores some of his stuff there. But I think they're trying to revamp that place.
Yeah,
it was a shithole when we were there.
It's all nice
behind my
now.
grandma's house there, between the falls and the railroad tracks there. It's a big hill.
Yeah,
And
that
behind
hill.
Tower Park.
Yep.
There's all those trees and stuff. So when I was a kid, we had more than one tree fort back there, or tree house. And we used to go over to Dakota News and go through their dumpster because they would tear they'd get magazines and comic books sent back and they'd tear the cover off. Mm-hmm. And so we'd go take them all and put them in our forts. So I'd get big stacks of comic books in Penthouse.
Yeah.
I was a little guy and we had our forts filled with comic books in Penthouse and Playboy.
Right across from 910 North Main was that white apartment complex I was talking about. It would be drug addicts.
It's still there.
I know what you're talking about. It is still there now, yeah.
We would. I mean, that was the heyday of our drug and alcohol
I remember
abuse.
some metal bands practicing their fall with Josh Ferry and all those guys.
Yeah, a lot of those locals did. We did, including us, and we probably haunted that place ourselves with some of our activity. And I remember people would come. We'd leave the door open on a hot summer day because it was hot as fuck in there.
Yeah,
people would wander over. Crazies. From that
I remember going in there and seeing some meth heads in an apartment there. It was basically they had a mattress and that was it. And 1310 North Main, my grandma's house. If the stories are true, so my grandma, they own 1310 North Main. There's 2 houses, and they own a blue house on the same street. And I'll have to tell you about my grandpa sometime. That'll be for a different podcast. But from what I understand, they were the second people that owned the house. First people bought built it.
She on the Native American side here?
She's full-blood Native American. My grandpa was full-blood German. Grandma Martha and Grandpa Wilford. And then my Uncle Daniel lived with them. So, first little tidbit, me and my brother, little kids, put us to sleep up in Uncle Daniel's room, and my mom and grandma and other family members are downstairs. And they hear all this racket upstairs, and they're like, Jesus, sounds like they're throwing all the toys across the room and stuff, all this noise. And they come screaming and yelling upstairs at us, and they come upstairs, and we're all sound asleep, and the toys are just sitting there. Nothing happened, but it sounded like all kinds of things were just being thrown all over. So, now this house, when I would go there, I would feel a presence. You would be alone in a room, and then you would feel like there's someone in the room with you. And you'd feel it more upstairs, like I'd feel it upstairs, in the basement, in different places. It was like ever present. It was just a feeling you'd get. And every night, you would hear someone walk down these creaky stairs from upstairs down to the main floor. Every night these stairs would creak. I can't express how much you could feel this presence.
Did you know the history of the house?
No, but my uncle Daniel, who lived there, he has cerebral palsy. So he's challenged, physically and mentally. But he loved to drink coffee, and he would sit down and have coffee with Mrs. Sisson. And I'm like, who's Mrs. Sisson? And he would say that she's the woman that used to own the house. And so he would sit down and have a cup of coffee with this woman, this man with cerebral palsy, on a regular basis. And then different things would happen. The family just accepted that it was haunted. We're all a bunch of Native Americans. And then my grandma remodeled the house one time. Just all she did is the bathroom had 2 doors to it, and she remodeled it, closed one of the doors off, so there's just one door. And one night, we hear the ghost walk down the stairs, come into the kitchen, and run into the wall. And then my grandma started laughing at the ghost for running into the wall when she out of the house. And what else happened there? You just very much see that. It was spooky anyways, because my grandparents' basement was like a museum. It was filled with all his World War II memorabilia, like his old helmet, guns, things like that, but also Native American memorabilia, like bow and arrow, traditional powwow fancy dancer outfit, turtle rattle, pipestone, bones, deer, and all these different bones and things, and just all this kind of crazy stuff, because they used to travel around the country as fancy dancers. My mom and my uncle would go dancing at powwows all over the country. And I would see I saw pictures of my grandpa hanging out with Bob Hope, and and different people, George McGovern, pictures of him coming over for dinner. Anyways, that's not what I wanted to talk about. My grandma passed away, and everybody's sitting there partying one night when she'd been dead for a week or two. I don't know. And screwdriver flies off the shelf, but it goes straight across the room and stabs into the wall.
You witnessed it? Or?
Yeah, and my uncle just says, Grandma's pissed we're drinking in her house. But
this is your cerebral palsy, mentally challenged?
No, this is my other uncle. He was there, but my other uncle Alphonse was there. He's the one that moved in. And it became a whole party house. I guess, I don't know. Those are the experiences, and
what is you as an atheist? What would your interpretation of that be? Is this manifestation of...
I don't think a screwdriver flew across the room.
Oh, okay.
I've never experienced anything like that, so
Yeah.
I'm a bad guest for this subject, you know.
I know.
Well, I think it's
This is like asking a tap dancer to comment on soccer.
Yeah. Well, and to me, that's like, just because you've never seen it doesn't mean it's not possible.
No.